Okay, everybody looking? Okay, so one of the first things that you're going to learn is how do you open stuff up without Photoshop launching and all this other stuff? Because if you notice, these all have different uh, formats, right? Like JPEGs, there's the CR2 stuff, right? There might be other things that do that. Now, some of you guys who have cameras, like Everett just got one, there's a shooting mode in these cameras. It's called RAW or RAW. And there's sometimes most cameras have 3 versions of that. That means it captures more information than say a JPEG format, right? And you can edit it more. Just a few years back, you used to have like a converter or almost like a plug-in on Photoshop. Now it's all in there. You don't have to worry about that. So you can open these. I like to shoot in this format because again, you can edit it more, right? And have more control over the image. All right. And we'll be going over that as we use the classroom cameras. But what I'm trying to do here is I want to look at all of these in the quickest way possible, right? And the easiest way is you do a select all, Command A inside the folder, right? Command A, select all, and then you click and hold on your mouse. If you don't have your mouse set up with a right click, you're gonna have to do Option or something, and I'll go over how to make sure you have it set up with a right click. And you want to open with, and if you don't see preview here, you got to go to other, and it's gonna go to your apps folder. Let me do that again. You're gonna right click. If you don't already have preview as the default, then you're gonna go here to other. You don't want to open these in Photoshop right away. The reason is we want to just look through them. We don't have to open them in Photoshop because then you can't see them all at once. You can't click through them. I personally do not like using the photos. The built-in Apple app. I don't like it at all. I don't know if some of you guys use it. You can use it if you want. I don't like it. I like preview because it's quick. Anyway, so here's the problem. When you don't have preview as you got to go here and say all applications and then always open. This is going to tell it to use preview. Go all the way to the preview like that. Yes. Say open. Now the CR2 one is going to open separate, but the rest, that's my crazy dog. She loves to swim in the grass. Look at her evil eyes she's making. All right. The rest opened in one window, and you just click on them and use your arrow keys to click through them. Yeah? Yes? 2003. Some of you guys weren't even born then, right? How about 2005? Wow, you guys weren't even a thought yet. That's incredible. Huh? Yeah, I told you it's a self-portrait. Yeah. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. That's in my basement when I had it set up. And that chair, we're actually going to use it here in this classroom. I have it in the closet. That chair is literally from my family. Because remember I told you guys the story. My grandma had properties in Mexico and Juarez. And the last one we had was like this old Adobe apartment complex. And one of the last family members passed away. And then my dad got the property. And then he says, I'm going to knock it all down and make a parking lot, which he did. And then he told me, if you want any of the crap that's in that last apartment, go get it. And I literally went to Juarez and I picked up all this antique furniture. This chair, and we have it here in class. It's an awesome chair because it has this, what you call like patina, right? All this age. It's probably 150 years old, I bet you, at this point. And it's great for portraits because it has all this patina, all this scratches, and it's a beautiful chair to me, right? And it's cool for portraits, I think, right? Because it's got that cool look to it. So we actually have that chair here. I've been using it for years to do our portraits and photography and stuff. So anyway, but what I wanted to show you was, and please be aware, because a lot of people know, some people don't care. And maybe right now that you're, oh, this one you don't have, we'll download that right now. Some of you guys maybe don't know, but I want you to go to this one of this gentleman downtown. Everybody there? Yeah. Yes, kind of follow along. You guys got it? All right. Now, whether you're aware of this or not, right? And I know this is kind of taking a weird turn, but if you ever watch any of those videos or TV shows where they're like trying to figure out crimes, especially like if somebody got murdered, right? I'm not going to the morbid side, but if you have any kind of like conspiracies about all the government's tracking us, you know, that kind of stuff. All I'm going to tell you is the truth is if you got a cell phone, they know where you are. And if you take pictures with your cell phone, if somebody really wanted to, FBI, NSA, whoever, is going to find out.
Yeah. Well,
what were you going to say?
about like true crime, all this stuff.
Yeah.
But like I feel like a lot of it's like old murders, you know, that like go on.
Like unsolved stuff?
It's like,
you know.
It's not hard now when everyone has phones.
Yeah.
Like it's, you can't really hide that anymore.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you, and right now, again, it's because you guys are at an age and a point in your life where you know you're not full adults yet, and you're not doing all your stuff on your own yet. But once you start doing that, you create patterns in this world. All right, I'm gonna tell you something. I have friends who are cops. I have a nephew-in-law who's in the FBI, and he tells me some stuff. He can't tell me everything, obviously, but he says basically it's really hard to hide if you're doing something you shouldn't be doing. The problem is there's too many people and there's not enough FBI agents, and they have like a backlog of, and then they have to categorize. Obviously, the worst crimes are where people die, right, or are killed, and then from there they go. They literally have a hierarchy, right? And obviously they have like terrorism and all those things. Those are like high up too. There's just, he said there's just too much stuff going on, right? But what he does tell me is that if they wanted to, they could look up me, right? And just with my cell phone information, right? And you can say, oh, I'll turn my cell phone off. The second you turn it back on, it connects to the system and it shows everybody where you are, where you've been, how many times you've been to that same ATM, where you went and bought stuff. You know what I'm saying? So please be aware of this in the future for whatever reasons. All right? Everybody got that? Now, here's what's interesting about photography now, since it's digital. And some of you guys are going to say, I'm going to go to film like Jacob over there, right? All right, so you're clicking on this gentleman, right? Do Command I. This is what we call metadata. How many of you guys knew this exists? Every photo you've ever taken from your first cell phone to now has this information. And let me tell you, the authorities, the FBI, they have more access to more information than you and I because we're just consumers of these products, right? And I don't know if you ever heard Apple has like a privacy an ethics code. When you buy an iPhone, right, you are kind of agreeing to some of those rules. All those things where you say, do you agree? And you just click it. You don't even read it. You guys know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Right now, it doesn't matter as much because you're a young person and you don't worry about those things yet. But as you go further in life, you're like, wait a minute. Why am I giving away all this information to people for free? Well, sometimes we don't have a choice because we live in an electronic age, right? So if you look real quick here, Command I, and this little general info window pops up, it tells you a lot of things. Look at the date, right? The date's there. Okay. Now you're going to say, well, it doesn't say who took this picture. Okay. But there's a lot of information, right? So March 8th, 2017. I can tell you this was probably one of my afternoon classes. We went downtown, right? Go to the little I. Uh-huh.
Oh wow.
Yes, sir. Sometimes, I don't know if this one, I've opened it too many times, it won't tell me what camera it was. Sometimes it'll tell you what camera, even the serial number of the camera. EXIF, look at this. It tells you even the settings of the camera and the lens, and that it was an iPhone 7 Plus. That was my phone. Yeah. Scene type, it even has a description. How do you like that? And as we go forward into the world of AI, this information is even more detailed. All right. Okay. You guys looking at that?
That's crazy.
I know. I know. I don't know what some of this stuff means, but I guarantee you somebody does. Go to GPS. It tells you exactly where this was taken down to like 3 feet.
Oh wow, you even have the one.
Yes. All right. Look at that. Above sea level. All right. There's the longitude and latitude. Mm-hmm. Okay. So you really think that they're spying on us with clones that look like birds? No, we have a phone. We're giving them the information.
Well, I
All
mean,
right.
birds aren't real.
Okay. Yeah. You're gonna go with that one too. The birds aren't real. That guy. Remember how he did that? The whole
What do you mean
campaign.
the birds aren't real?
No, but he admitted that he made that up just to see who would follow that whole conspiracy. You know this, right?
That's a conspiracy.
No, he made it on purpose.
Yeah, the government told him to say that.
Ah, jeez. All right. Okay, anyway, so I just wanted to share this information with you guys, right? Make sure you understand, right? And I know it's kind of like, it's almost like finding out Santa Claus isn't real in some
Santa
ways.
Claus isn't real?
No.
You're me.
All right. Okay, so not everything has this information, right? Like if you download something from the internet, though, you'd be amazed how many people don't know how to remove this information. What's one way you could manipulate this photo?
Screenshot.
No, what? Oh, who said screenshot? Aha. So if you don't want the actual, now the thing is with a screenshot, you're going to lose the resolution, right? Well, what if I did a Shift Command 4 and I selected this image, right? And now I go to my screenshot, Command O, and I'm going to open it with preview. That's the one I just made, right? All right. So it's telling me it was created just a few minutes ago. Look at this. It's even telling me that this is projected on the projector. How do you like that? Because that's the information on this computer. All right. Now, yeah, no, there's not because we took a screenshot.
Yeah, but I mean, you still have to be at a location.
Yeah. Now, again, what I tell you, maybe this is all the information we have access to, but I guarantee you, people with higher authority and super complicated programs could probably figure out more information that we see here. If I posted this on the internet, or what if I transfer this to my phone? Huh? And then it exists on my phone. And then I send it to someone. Then it's in the system. You see what I'm talking about? All right. Yes? No? Every time you send it through another system, say your phone to somebody, now it has more metadata attached to it. Okay? All I'm trying to show you here is be aware. Okay? Especially as you go forward in young adult life. Okay? Be careful. Be careful. Know that there's technology out there that pretty much has an eye on us. Okay. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to go to Photoshop. And one other thing here, I'm going to quit out of this. I know there's several ways on these computers. Like say you did this, which is the one, oh, this one, I forgot. That's a F4 on mine. And it shows you some of the apps and stuff, right? Just like on your phone. But everyone should know how to do this. Everybody watching? The dock is this thing on the side or the bottom. Everybody knows this, yes? Where you have some of your apps, yes? Some of you guys have it where it shows. If you go to the Apple and you go to Systems and Desktop and Dock right here, okay? I don't know if you guys know this. I don't know if we covered it like the first couple of weeks when we were like just looking into the Apple OS. But you can change how they look, where they show up. I happen to have mine on the left, if you want to call it my left, right? You can change the position on screen right here. You can have it at the bottom. You can have it at the right. What if I select bottom? Now it's at the bottom, right? I'll put it back to the left or the right. Now, why am I showing you this? Well, this is what we call, I don't even know if they still call them an alias, right? But if you want quick access to your apps, you usually put them on the dock, right? You can customize this. I don't know if you guys know this, you can actually, if you don't have Photoshop here, maybe because it's open, it'll show up here. And on a Mac, as you guys know, if there's a little dot next to it, that means it's on. As opposed to PC, if you close out all the windows in PC, you quit that program, right? That application. On a Mac, you have to manually quit. So check this out. If you don't have the Photoshop icon, you can actually drag it and remove it, right? Any of these, just like on your phone, you can get rid of the app that way. I know it looks blurry because I zoomed in. But say you want to have it there. This is very important. Everybody look. So you go to your desktop, you do a new window, you go to applications, you find Photoshop. Now, here's where people get confused. This is a folder. Do not drag a whole folder of an app somewhere else because then it won't connect right to the hard drive and the app won't work. Notice it's a folder. A folder is meant to be what? Exactly. So you open the folder, and then if you don't have an app, an alias on your dock that you want to be there, you grab the app. Here's my Photoshop app. And I click and hold and drag it to the dock. And I find the spot where I want it and I let go. And now it's there. So I don't have to go back and look for it. I just go to my dock. I click on it, it launches it. Okay. This way you can customize your dock. Say you don't want some of these apps on there. You click them, drag them out. Okay. I don't know if everybody knew that, but I want everybody to be able to do that. Do not drag the whole folder onto the dock. That's not what I did. Okay. And you'll have this video to show you that. Okay. Once I did that, I launched Photoshop. Does everyone have Photoshop open? All right. Those of you guys who know Photoshop, good. Those of you guys who don't, you're going to learn just a little bit today. We're going to create a new file similar to Illustrator, but remember, we're working now in pixels or what we call raster images, right? Let's do a regular 8.5 by 11. You can go to print also as well, right? And here, these are the presets. And I want everybody to notice, and I think I've talked to some of you guys who make your art like on your iPads and stuff, and you use Procreate and all these other programs. And I really recommend from this day forward, anything you create, you want to create it in what we call a standard high resolution file format. Wow. And that means, that was perfect, huh? And that means 300 pixels per inch. That is the standard for what we call high resolution, right? There's high resolution, there's mid 150, and then there's low resolution 72. Now, these are standards that all the people who created digital programs and Photoshop and the internet all agreed. There's associations that agree to these standards. So it can't be 350 pixels per inch. You can type that in, but you want to follow the standards, all right? Every image that you ever download from the internet most likely is going to be 72 pixels per inch. Anybody know why? Anybody know websites and how they work? Why is everything on the internet 72 pixels per inch and RGB format? Anybody?
Because we want to sell it.
Okay, that's one. How about, and see, we don't worry about these things anymore, but back in the 90s, when I witnessed the birth of the internet and stuff, for the majority of people, if you were a website designer, the reason that all the images and stuff on the internet are 72 pixels per inch is so that the website works quicker and loads quicker. All right, that is the standard for images for the internet, 72 pixels per inch. All right, that's the standard they came up with. All right, so everybody here, 8.5 by 11, 300 pixels per inch. We're gonna leave it RGB, 8-bit is fine. Background is white. Everybody there? All right, create. You should have this file. Mine's gonna look like a square, but yours is gonna look taller. Remember, because that's because of the projector. All right. Tools. Some are similar, some are not. If you don't see this double toolbar, go to Window, Layers. Let's have layers. Where's my tools? I think it's on a different one. Oh, it's right here. Workspace. Yeah. Very nice. You can do essentials. All right. Let's see what graphic and web. I haven't seen this in a while. Oh. All right. Let's go back to essentials. Window, workspace. Let's do essentials. That's the default. Okay. So at minimum, I want everybody to have layers right here. Everybody have layers and then your image. Yes? Okay. Now check this out. It's a little bit different than Illustrator. If you do Command minus, Command plus, your document gets bigger and smaller. But in Photoshop, all this gray area, if you click on the bottom and drag it open, you will not see any image here. This is not your artboard in like in Illustrator. You won't see anything. You will only see something in the center. All right. Okay. Now that doesn't mean that images exist beyond here. They just won't be visible. All right. Okay. So let's do the first thing. I'm going to ask a question, see what people say here. I want to get the lion picture that I gave you guys in here. How do I do it? What's one way? Huh? Okay, Command O. Let's go to the lion picture that I told you guys to download. Desktop. Mine's on my desktop. What number is that one that I gave you guys? 13 what? Huh? Can somebody tell me what number is the lion one I gave you guys? 1365? Okay. All right. So, like Tashawn said, open, Command O. All right. Command 0, Command minus. Uh-oh. Hold on. The Michael Jackson thing ran out. There, I quit out of it. Okay. So, notice how Photoshop kind of stacks the photos, right? Okay. So, I got two separate images. How do I get this lion image into this one that we created that's 8.5 by 11? What do you guys think? Anyone? You Photoshop people. How would I do that? How do I get this in here? I want this lion photo into this 8.5 by 11, 300 pixels. Okay, I already did that, but that's just opening a file. Now, there is a place function, but I'm going to show you the easiest and I still think the correct way. You guys ready? You ready? Click on your lion one. Notice how on the layers, you'll see the preview of what's in there, right? You see where it says background? Yes? Everybody? Click and hold and drag it into your 8.5 by 11. Let me do that again. Go to your lion, go to the layers, see where it says background right here in the gray or on the words. Click and hold with your mouse and start dragging. It'll become a hand and you drag it into the open untitled document. Everybody do that? You just drag layers. There is a place function, but I'm going to be honest, I never use it. I do it this way. All right. And see what I told you guys about how the image is there, but you kind of don't see all of it. That's the move tool, this guy. It's just like a 4-pointed arrow. Okay. Now, remember, Photoshop is not like Illustrator in the sense that we are now working with pixels. And if you zoom in, you can see These are all our pixels. So right from the start, whether you have a lot of Photoshop knowledge or not, Photoshop is all about the art or technical ability on how to manipulate these pixels in groups, basically, right? You can actually technically select one at a time, but can you imagine editing a photo one pixel at a time, right? Is it possible? Are there probably some YouTubers that do that? Probably. Yeah. Okay. But that's really what Photoshop is, right? These are what we call raster or pixel-based images, right? They're made of pixels. And the whole idea is how do we change these pixels in groups or all at once to do what we want them to do? That's basically what Photoshop does, right? It helps us edit some of these images, right? Now, everybody listen to this next part. You ready? I don't know if you're lucky or unlucky that I come from a time where we started learning how to use Photoshop. And all I'm going to tell you, as a person who's also an artist, right, and a designer, sometimes the easiest and quickest thing still can give you good results. What do I mean by that? Because right now, any of you can go to YouTube. I can go to YouTube and you can look up cool Photoshop tutorials, right? And there's a million of them on there, right? But sometimes the easy stuff, the basic stuff is good enough for what you're doing, right? Okay. And I think what I'm trying to say is a lot of people these days try to overcomplicate what you're doing when you're editing an image. All right. Does that make sense? Right? Would you rather spend 3 hours trying to get this edit just right or a few minutes? Right? Depending what you're going to use your image for. Right? And there are still some very easy standard things to do that you don't have to do a lot of crazy Photoshop work. All right. That's all I'm trying to make a point. All right. So everybody got the lion? Okay. Go to your layer and double click on where it says layer 1 and name it lion. I'm going to be really, really picky this semester about you guys naming your layers in Photoshop. I did not pick on you guys a lot last semester with the whole Illustrator thing, but I'm going to tell you, since Photoshop really relies heavily and you can typically only have one thing on one layer at a time, unlike Illustrator, you're really going to have to start naming your layers. And I'm going to tell you right now beforehand, remember how I always tell you guys, name your files, make your files nice, because other people might get to work on them. There's going to be some lessons in this semester where you're going to pass on your file to someone else, right? And they're kind of going to judge how well your file is put together, if you named all your layers, and so forth, right? I want you guys to be professionals in that sense if you end up doing this kind of work. All right. I want people to say, and I'm not lying, I'm not, tooting my own horn here, but I've had students come back and tell me, oh, my employer asked me, who taught you this? And they said, oh, I had to say it was you, Mr. Noble, right? Because their files are good. People want to see good files, especially in the print industry. All right. So the only way I can compare that is you're just good at how you put stuff together, how you make things, right? I don't care whether it's you build a chair, right? Or you work on a car and modify an engine, or you crochet something that's awesome, or you paint a beautiful painting by hand, right? The craftsmanship is also included in digital files like this, and it's how you put it together. All right. And yeah, it takes a few seconds to name the layer, but do it. That's all I'm going to tell you. All right. You guys ready? Oh, no? You didn't name your layer yet? Okay. All right.
Letters are hard.
They're not hard. You just got to practice. That's a beautiful lion, no? Look at that shot. Yeah. That's at our zoo here, if you know that. Okay.
You're good.
Command O. Let's open up another one. What? No. We're going to put another one in there. What? Yeah, we're going to do the same thing again. So you guys get used to dragging the layer into the other one. Did you guys see this one, the box head? You didn't see that one? Yeah, that's me wearing a box on my head. All right, let's get the old man, downtown man. I took this picture. Command O. Command O, downtown man. It's a separate file, right? Cool. Let's do the same thing. Drag that layer over there where you just dragged. Sorry. I don't know. I got confused there. Whatever it is. Does anybody know? I couldn't have said drugged. That means drug, like drugs. That was wrong.
No, it's like
Or dragged.
drag, just like how hang is hanged.
Oh.
No, it's hang.
It's hanged. It is hanged. All right. Anyway.
Yes.
Okay.
English is weird.
Yes. All right. Did everybody do the same? It's the same process we did with the lion. Don't get confused and drag. Don't drag it onto the lion image. Drag it onto the untitled one we haven't saved. And if you notice, when you dragged it, what happened? Notice I said dragged. It's small, right? It's small because that picture was a different resolution. It was actually 72 pixels per inch. And you don't see that yet. And I'll show you guys later where you can see that. Huh? What happened? All right. So notice now we've got, you should have the background, which was white, the lion that we just dragged in there. Now layer one, again, let's name it old man if you want, whatever. Cool? Yes? Okay, whatever you want. Let's do the same process again. Command O. Let's open up the picture of my dog Maple swimming in the grass, making her crazy faces. It's just 202-00611-160-824. Yes? I heard a doorbell. Did you guys hear a doorbell?
Yeah.
Was that somebody's phone? I just heard a doorbell is what I said. Okay. So open up this one. That's my dog Maple swimming in the grass. Open. All right. Look at her crazy eyes she's making.
There is nothing between them ears.
Yeah. Look at her crazy face she's making. All right. And again, we're going to do the same thing. Everybody going to follow along here. Get that layer, drag it onto the one we created, the untitled one. So now we've got the lion, the old man, and if you want to call this one dog or my dog Maple, her name is Maple. Huh? The same process. Drag the layer. We're doing the same thing over and over. Yeah? Okay. You guys ready? Okay. So again, this is kind of what we're going to be doing with some of the images you bring next class. And then we're going to have a hands-on, you're going to make a collage with some magazine and stuff I have here. And we're going to try to do a cool collage with some of your images, right? This is just practice, how to get this going. All right, it's going to be very simple, but you'd be amazed some of the results we get. Okay. Now, you guys ready? I want you to, just like in Illustrator, drag the layers. If you can drag the layer, see how it works, right? And make the Maple one the bottom one. All right. The lion one, the middle one, and the old man, the top one. Everybody there? Yes? No? Okay. Go and remember in Photoshop, it doesn't really, it's not as nice as Photoshop. Because I guarantee you, some of you guys will be like, Mister, this isn't working because you don't have the correct layer selected. And in Photoshop, you can actually have no layer selected. See how I clicked in this area down here and there's no layer selected? So you click over here. Make sure the top old man layer is selected. Everybody there? Command T is transform. That is a simple command. under edit and this transform, and we got all these different ones here. You can actually go manually to the top menu, right? And you can see it's on free transform, Command T. And I'll give you guys a cheat sheet on the commands too. And we have all these other ones. These are pretty interesting. We can use these later. Okay. I'll show you guys these later, but just Command T, free transform. We don't want to stretch it right now. We don't want to manipulate. All we want to do is scale it up. Now, as opposed to Illustrator, I don't know if you guys notice, I'm just trying to scale it, but notice how Photoshop realizes that I'm running out of room. So what I like to do is do Command minus and make the window very small, then open it manually this way. So I have all the space I need. See how it's kind of tricky in that sense. If you hold down Option, it does let you kind of scale it from the center out rather from the edge. See? So I went to one of the corners. I started scaling by dragging it out bigger, and I hold down Option. And I want the gentleman's face to be about that big, and then I can still move it. And Photoshop is different in the sense that you have to do this one last step, hit enter or return, and then it places it, right? It finishes that transform movement that we did. Yes. Command T? How else would you start making it scale like this? It won't. It'll just move. Unless you go up to edit and say transform, free transform. Yeah. It's not like Illustrator because we're working with pixels. Okay, everybody there? Yes? No? Okay. Now I want you to do this. Notice the size of I know it's kind of stretched up there. I can't do anything about that. That's a projector. Watch this. Go to, these are our blend modes, and start choosing some. Yeah, these are very basic. Oh, look at that. I don't, again, I'm trying to emphasize how some of the original built-in things in Photoshop can actually create pretty interesting images right off the bat. Okay. So look at this one. I selected lighten. I don't know if you guys are getting the same effect. It's actually pretty cool. You can obviously see that it's somebody's profile, and then there's a lion in there, right? Cool. I'm going to leave it on that one. But just to give you an idea, everybody looking, all I did was use a blend mode. What if I turn the lion layer off? Now I got a dog in there, right? Yeah. So again, just different things that you can do. And these are simple things, and I want everybody to kind of explore and experiment with some of this stuff, because you'd be amazed how some of the simple stuff that you get just by doing this, right? Oh, look at that. Look at hard light. I can see both, and it almost looks like the dog is blending with his face. Yeah. Okay. Hold on, let me pause. Oh, it stopped. Okay. Anyway. Okay, so you guys see what I'm getting at. I know there's some of you guys know a lot of Photoshop and know some awesome tutorials, but I'm just trying to say be simple at first, right? Just play around with some of the basic stuff. You would get some pretty amazing images, right? And you guys saw we didn't do anything except place stuff, move layers into this other file, basically put them together. Oh, look at that one. Yeah. Okay. Simple stuff. I haven't done anything. Oh, look at that one. That's so interesting. Wow. And here's the other cool thing. I'm going to go back to normal. You guys ready? What's cool about this is I can do quick copies of the layers. Command J. I like to make copies of all the layers. And I have 2 of each. Everybody see that? So I went to each layer and I did Command J. All right. Now, what we're doing right now is what we call non-destructive editing. Select a layer, Command J. You have to select the layer. Notice all I did was make a copy of each of these images. All right. This is what we call non-destructive editing. That means it can be undone easily by just going back to normal, right? So all I'm trying to make a point is there's a lot of stuff you can do, right? Without having to do a lot of things. Okay, so now check this out. What if I just turn off the old man and I do that with the lion image, right? And I use some of these blend modes, and then you have the dog and the lion blending, right? So just showing you how there's different things you can do, right? Now also, oh weird. Oh, some of these are not that good. What happened?
No, just the way you said that.
Oh, my reaction? Yeah. Now, one thing too, check this out. What if I did this? Everybody looking? Okay, so see how I made copies of the lion, right? What if I turn this off? Huh? Watch this. What if I, and here's the tricky part about Photoshop. Everybody watching? So I have the bottom copy of the lion selected, and this can happen by accident a lot. And I accidentally click, and I'm like, oh, I want to move this lion image. Oh, I have it on auto select. Sorry. Up here at the top, you see this auto select button. If you guys see it, when you're on a layer, turn that off. Right now, it showed you that I accidentally clicked on it, and it went automatically to the top layer. But what I wanted to do was to show you this. I'm gonna select the bottom copy, and I'm gonna click and drag, and it's gonna look like I did nothing. This is gonna confuse a lot of people later. I'm moving this file, but it's not. The reality is, if you look at this little preview, I moved the bottom one, but because the top one is on, I can't see what I did. But check it out. If I turn this on and off, oh, I see. I moved the bottom one by accident. And then if I did one of these blend modes, right, and I do a multiply, then I can get like a double image, right? Hello. Okay, hold on. Let me pause. Hold on. All right, pause recording. Okay, so like I said, be aware that sometimes you may be like, oh, I know I'm moving this image and nothing's happening, right? You can see like these purple little lines, but you don't see anything happening. It's because you have a layer covering up the other one. Unlike Illustrator, you can see everything, right? When they're on different layers because they're vector images. Here, you can have a whole picture, right? Covering up the other one, see? So be aware of that. And that's some of the first things that kind of mess people up. Always make sure you have the right layer selected when you're doing any kind of effect or scaling or whatever, because Photoshop just doesn't give you a chance, man. It messes you up in that sense. Okay. So anyway, I'm just showing you that. Again, these are some of the cool blend modes, right? And obviously, some of you guys that are creative, you can say, "Oh, what if I make 10 copies of this lion and scale them down?" You can make it look like when you're looking with a camera into a mirror and you get all these images, right? You know what I'm talking about? Yes? No? Anybody? Right? So technically, you could do that. All right. So that's some of the basic stuff, right? Getting images into a file so you can start manipulating, editing them, right? Very simple blend modes, right? What time is it? 10:40. Okay. What else am I missing? Trying to remember what else. Oh, okay. Let's go to the internet. Everybody together. All right. Everybody together. Let's go to the internet. Do not look up Blue Sky, please.
Look up blue.
No. All right. Don't do that. Okay. Everybody there? Type vintage handwriting. I've always loved this kind of stuff, right? Like back in the 19th and 18th century, how people had what they call cursive handwriting or penmanship, right? They don't teach this anymore. What I'm saying is, not a lot of people do this anymore.
Yeah.
So I find it kind of beautiful sometimes. Some of this old writing. All right.
It was so difficult.
Okay. So everybody looking? I found this one. I don't know if it's any good. It says old letter with vintage handwriting 140. I don't know what this is. Let's click on that one, but I kind of like it. Visit. You can actually do it on what's that website I told you guys? Unsplash. I'm sure there's some there. Okay. And then let's click on it. I don't know if you have to buy these. download this image, sign up with Google.
Just right click.
Yeah, let's get, this is gonna be a low res one. You know what? Let's go to Unsplash. Now I'm curious. Let's go to Unsplash. Sorry. I didn't do this last time. Unsplash. Let's see.
Oh, I use the site.
Yeah. Well, I told you guys about it.
No, you did.
I have.
No, you told us about the other.
Let's see. Old letter. Not these top ones. Those are from iStock. Oh, here's one. Oh, there it is. This one. Let's get this one. It says Italy pictures and images. I put old letter.
No.
Old letter. Click on this one. Download for free. This is a nice high res, high quality one.
Are we gonna start a new page or something?
What?
Are we gonna start a new page?
No. We're gonna do the same thing. Watch. So I downloaded that. Mine says Alessio Fiorentino, right? And then we're gonna go back to our Photoshop. What? No, what? It was beautiful. Next year, if you come back, we're gonna go see him in person.
What's the activity?
Oh, you did something cool. All right, cool. Very nice. Okay, so the same thing, Command O. Let's go to our downloads and get that oops. Alessio Fiorentino. All right. Cool. Same thing. Look at that. Now we drag that layer into our file. And I'm going to bring it up to the top. And I'm going to have it like that in the whole. Yeah. Oh, when you open, check this out. Command O. And then here you have to say list. And it'll show you the newest. And then you click on date added. See? Right here. Date added. You might have to click on it twice like this. But this has to be in list view. Did you get it? Yeah. Yeah. Command O. And then here list. And then date added. And downloads. Got it? Got it? You got it? No? Are you looking up here? Command O. Downloads folder. List view. Awesome. Okay. So check this out. I want everybody to follow this. Now, what I didn't show you right now on the transform, right? Command T. Everybody looking at mine? Look at this. Command T. If you go to the corner, you can actually rotate it. I want this at an angle. Now, notice most pixel-based images or raster images, they're vertical, right? They're straight up and down, right? Like the photos. But no one says you cannot change the angle. And I just did. How do I do that? Command T, but I go to the corner and I rotate it. And then I can scale it up. I can scale it up so I can get what I want in it, right? Cool. Because a lot of times you take a picture with a camera and there's not enough image. Would you guys agree? Now we have the AI that helps us with that. It's kind of fake, but it works. We'll be looking at that later. And then I hit enter. And now I'm going to do the blend modes. Look at that. Find a cool one. Yeah, I just want you to play around with it a little bit. And for today, all you're going to do is save this. And I'm not even going to have you upload what you made today yet. Maybe on the next one, right? Just make me a nice little collage, right? You could add more pictures from the ones I did there, right? I'm going to show you that real quick. Just do me one nice collage. Let's turn on the old man picture. And here's the other thing. Everybody watching? Each layer, you can also lower the opacity or how much of it shows. Everybody looking? So each layer, this is also non-destructive because you can always bring that up. But see how I can kind of balance it in between, right? I don't like this one. Ooh, look at that one. Divide looks nice. It looks washed out. Look at how nice that looks. Oh, that's beautiful, actually. I didn't even try. All right. So notice right here, you can also manipulate it. You can also manipulate it with the opacity. And you can also do it with the fill. It's kind of weird how that works, but it's kind of the same. All right. Look at that. Look at that. So you find the balance. It's kind of hard to see on the screen, but when you see the video, you'll see that I balance it just to where you can see the lion and just to where you can see the man and his face. And then you can see the text on top, right? So again, you can do that, play around with it. Let's do a save, and then we'll stop for today. And let's name this collage 1 or practice collage. Practice collage underscore. Now, again, I'm going to be bugging you guys about naming your files. Always put your initials. Some of you guys are doing that real nice. Some of you guys don't. But let's do that. Let's start doing that. Now, what format? Always save anything you're working on. This is what we call a working file in the industry, in the business of photo editing. It's called a layered file, right? Photoshop. Just PSD means Photoshop document. Notice there's a Photoshop format that to anybody who looks at this, if they see a PSD, that means, oh, that's a layered file. I can go in there and edit, and all the layers will be in there, right? So let's do that and just save. I'm going to save mine to my computer. Oh, I click on save to Creative Cloud. Sorry, I didn't mean to do that. Cancel. I want to save on my computer. Shift Command S. Practice collage. 1 AN. I'm gonna put AM class. Save it in my downloads just as a Photoshop file. That's fine. Now, if you wanted to make this a screensaver for your phone or your computer, whatever you did today, I would save as, and we're not going to size it, obviously, but we'll have a lesson later where you make a screensaver for your phone, for your particular phone. All right. And I'm sure some of you guys have done stuff like that, but I like to do it here. If you do want to save it on your, as a screensaver, just hit save a copy after you saved it, and then it will allow you to save it in JPEG, PNG. Those are probably the two that are probably a good idea if you want to make a screensaver, right? And you hit JPEG and hit save, and it'll save it as a separate file, okay? But notice you still have your layered file, okay? Now, this is one thing I'm going to tell you guys. Please remember this. We live now in an age where our computers are capable of saving pretty large files. Don't be that person. Oh, I don't like this layer. I'm going to delete it. You don't need to delete anything. All right. Because I still see young people like you guys that I work with. They're like, oh, I don't like all these layers. It doesn't matter. Just leave them there. It's like my mom trying to erase her text messages. I just tell her, leave them alone. Right. Because then she messes up stuff. Just leave them there. Now, back in the 90s when I was working and doing this stuff, God, we were struggling to save files because we didn't have, hard drive space. That is not an issue nowadays. Now you have clouds. Now you have computers with 1 terabyte hard drives. Don't worry about that, okay? Don't worry about having a lot of files. As long as they're named right and you save them in the right places, and we'll be talking more about that because if you ever do work for other people or work somewhere else, you're going to have to learn how they save the stuff, right? Right now, anywhere you go that they do any kind of graphic design, whether it's video, print, they have a way of archiving all the files so that people don't mess them up, all right? That's a whole other part of the industry and business that we'll talk about later, okay? So save your files. And if you want to add more files right now, if you want to practice a little bit, we're going to kind of stop here today. And then next class, I'll have you guys save one quick little collage. And then next class, I want you guys to bring some photos. Did you guys look at what I'm asking for? No? Let's look at it together. I'm going to stop the video here.